Hey everybody, Charles from Just Takes One. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to give you a presentation about some books that were kind of missed last year in 2020. Last year was such a crazy year and everything was changing and books got pushed back and people's lives were thrown up and down. Stores were being shut down for some times and books were missed. Great books were missed. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to present you 40 books. 40 books to show you how great we had it. Some great things are just kind of fell by the wayside. They may have got pushed back a little bit. They were released. Some books were released during the first week of lockdown, so when it was kind of hard to see things, and people didn't notice these titles. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you some of these titles. So what I have here is 40 elementary titles that you might have missed. Technically, there's 41 because there's an English and Spanish edition of a book, but there's still 40 titles. They're great titles. They didn't get the love and attention they need, and that's what I want to present you today. So it's my elementary pandemic recap 2020. And these are some of the review agencies I have access to. I don't get all of them. There's so many out there, but these are 5 of the bigger ones, especially for the school and library market, which I work in in the real world. So you have AOA, which is book list, Hornbook, Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, and SOJ. And how I see it is AOA and SOJ are more for the world I see and what I deal with. Doesn't mean the books are not great for public use. They're always great for that as well, but they have more of a school and library tint to it in their reviews and their mentions, and that's what I really know. Kirkus and Publishers Weekly, they do a lot more reviews, and their fine reviews are great, but they're just not for the market as so much. They're for school use and library use. They're still great reads. If it's a star review from Kirkus, it's still going to be great. Don't worry about that. Just how they see stuff. So I kind of see an AOA or SOJ review is really worth 2 Kirkus and Publisher Weekly reviews together, just because of what they serve. And what I'm going to do is you'll see marks here. You'll see a review here. It says AOA, and it says Kirkus and Publisher Weekly. Those are going to be starred reviews. I'm only going to not put on marks on books that got starred reviews for those. Some books didn't get starred reviews in this list. Doesn't mean they're bad books. They just get reviewed, and things just got kind of crazy. So I hope you enjoy, take a look, and if you really like this stuff, make sure you write it down, go ahead out there and get it, and enjoy. All right, so first we're going to start off is the 50 State Gems and Minerals Guidebook for Aspiring Geologists, Yehan Wang and author and Jane Levy with the illustrations. I may butcher a few names here and there. I'm sorry. Also, in the right-hand corner, you'll see its numbers 3 to 6. You might see 4 to 7, 5 to 9 for the middle grade. That's the grades I think the books best fit for what they can be with lower level, the highest level they could be, but the middle two are really the heart of the books. Anyway, so the 50 State Gems and Minerals, it's good. It's an excellent science book, good introduction to science and geology. It's got back matters, it's got glossary, and it's got where you can find state gems and minerals. So it's good for the inspiring scientists. I think a lot of kids will like it. Just pick it up and go through it and glance at stuff, especially in their state. They'll probably look for stuff. So I think it's a really cool introduction to geology. Even more fantastic failures, true stories of people who changed the world by falling down first. This is a second book in the Fantastic Failure series. The first one did really well. The second one just kind of came out to not much because of everything that was going on in life. And so another good thing, it's got many biographies about people failing before succeeding. It's a very good book, enjoyable, and the first book did well for you. I think this will do as well. You like this one as well. Darling Queen, Queen of the Screen. It's a really unique book. It's a book about the silent film industry and the fake kidnapping. It got 4-star reviews, AOA, Kirkus, Publisher Weekly, and SOJ. Just a fun, entertaining read. 3.6 is about best I feel for, but I think it can go higher with no issues. I don't think it can go lower, though. Cassandra's Curse. This is the first book in the brand new Muse Squad series. So it retakes the Greek myth on muses and brings it to a modern day. It's got a really nice diverse cast with a Cuban-American lead. So it's a nice introduction to new Greek mythology, at the same time seeing other stuff around. So it's a good, enjoyable read. The second book just came out a few months back. So you pick this one up and get the second book. You'll like both of them. Surprising Spies, Unexpected Heroes of the World War II by Karen Gray Rule. Very cool idea, but telling about 7 different spies. One was a Sophie princess, one was an MLB player, and how they got this information and how they got the information to the Allies and how important it was. Really cool history book. I think a lot of people who dig history will really enjoy this one. Curious Collection of Peculiar Creatures by Sammy Belay. Unique animals featured, good information, really cool drawings. And it's for those people that like the different and strange. So I think a lot of kids would pick this up because it's different, especially kids who are interested in animals. Or they get to see all these creatures around the world. They're just kind of weird looking. Ceiling Made of Eggshells by Gail Carlson Levine. It's actually set in 15th century Spain, which we don't really see more that much. It's a Jewish historical fiction about war and diaspora, and it's got 3-star reviews. Kirkus, Publishers Weekly, and SOJ. Exploring the Elements, a complete guide to periodic table, by Isabel Thomas and Sarah Gillingham. Really a top-notch guide, good information. It's got real-world applications of the element. So here's the element, and this is what we do with the element kind of thing. Really cool. I think a lot of kids would like it. A lot of kids will flip through it. You got 2-star reviews, AOA and Kirkus, and it might be one of those ones that somebody who's really good in science, really likes science, would like this in their collection. The Lemon Tree, an Arab, a Jew in the heart of the Middle East, Young Readers Edition by Sandy Tolan. A very cool book about friendship and multiculturalism and sharing in an area where it's not as common as it should be. Very good book. The adult version did really well. So young adult versions, Young Readers Edition is very good as well. Kirkus star reviews. The Water Bears by Kim Baker. Magical realism is doing really well now, especially for young readers. That aspects of real life with magic thrown in. It's always been kind of cool. It's got a Latinx main character, and it's really about self-acceptance. And it got 2-star reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. The Way of Rena Luna by Zerdia Cordova. Very cool, interesting adventure story with magic mixed in. Got Hispanic characters as the main leads, which is good. And it talks about the foster system and orphans. So it's a nice little intermix of stuff added in to help really tell the story. It got star reviews from AOA and SOJ. World of Glass by Art of Del Chewy by Jan Greenberg and Sandra Jordan. It's really about a unique story. It's about the art form of glass blowing. And it's nice, different than normal art, painting, drawing. This one's a nice art style. It's got a lot of good artwork in it, pictures in it, showing you the very different ways they can make these glass sculptures. You got reviews from AOA and Kirkus, and just show you some of the work that's within. Very cool book, very interesting, especially those artisan types. So let them check it out, see how much they like it. The Silver Arrow by Lev Grossman. It's got magic and adventure. It's got a really subtle environmental message throughout that kids will pick up on. It got 2-star reviews at AOA and Kirkus. So a nice little adventure book to escapism read. New Western America. This is the book that I was talking about, the English and Spanish. It's got 30 inspiring Latinas and Latinos who have shaped America. This one's by Sabrina Villas and Gloria Felix. Available in English and Spanish editions. Like I said, 30 short bios, and it's got an SOJ review. So a different little cast of characters and different people who have influenced the United States. We Dream of Space. Aaron Estrada Kelly, always loved Aaron's stuff. Set in the 1980s, which is a nice different historical fiction, around the Challenger disaster and the after effects of after effects of the Challenger, and plus with home life and some issues at home. So a very good book, enjoyable. Got 2-star reviews by AOA and SOJ. So check this one out. I think especially Aaron Estrada does really well for you. You must pick this one up. This was one of the ones that last year with the suffrage movement really should have done better, and it has. But when the kids aren't in school and there's money kind of different going around differently, it doesn't quite get out there like it should. But How Women Won the Vote by Alice Paul, Lucy Burns, and Their Big Idea by Susan Campbell, Bartelli, and Ziyu Chen, the illustrations. It's really a suffrage guide, and it talks about how to protest and what you need to do, and it shows you photos and artwork mixed in together. Really well done. Got an AOL star review. As you here's the drawings. Very nice, great drawings. A guide. I was talking about how to do a parade, and then as you see, comparing contrast with pictures and drawings. Very cool. Home for Goddesses and Dogs by Leslie Connor. This is a very good book. It's a talk about a young girl still grieving from her mom's sudden passing, And then she has get moved in with her aunt and her wife, and she's still adjusting and having a hard time moving on. And so they get a go. So we're keeping a family having issues, and the girl's having a hard time. And so what do? The dog wants to be at attention, and she's trying to be closed off, and the dog just slowly warms her over. And it's really about opening it up and finding some way to grieve openly. It's very sweet tale. I really enjoyed this. Got a star review from Publisher Weekly and SOJ. Kenny and the Book of Beasts. It's a sequel to Kenny and the Dragon by Tony Danzeri. So if Kenny and the Dragon did well for you, Kenny and the Book of Beasts will be really good as well. I think just kind of came out right as COVID started, so it's just one of those books. Saucy by Cynthia Chatta Tahatis. Features of quadruplets, that's unique, I thought, and family issues. And if you have four quadruplets trying to find your own place, and they rescue this pig named Saucy, and this Saucy kind of creates some havoc for them. And you got 2-star reviews by Kirkus and SLJ. Quintessence by Jess Redmond. Very cool book that makes fantasy with STEM aspects throughout it. And it really does about anxiety and panic attacks, and with everybody getting back to school, anxiety and panic attack, anxiety is really up this year. People are trying to adjust going back to classes with all the pandemic stuff. Really good book for that aspect of it, and it's got a nice diverse cast, and with an astronomy feel to it as well. Serena Says by Tanita S. Davis. It's a really cool book about childhood illness and physical and mental health, finding yourself, and social media vlogging and stuff. So Serena has a good friend. Her friend's got a childhood illness, is in the hospital, and she goes visit them, and she finds out her friend has got another friend that she doesn't really connect with, and she feels she's being left out. So it kind of hurts her, makes her slightly depressed, and she's got to deal with, it's okay for her friends to have other friends, and she can still be her friend. So a very sweet tale, and a nice little bring in of the childhood illness and mental and physical health. Really nicely done. Love Victoria Chang. Nice novel and verse book about bullying and having family illnesses. It's got a Chinese American League. So people like novel and verse. Some people really find that flow better to read. This is a great read for them, and it's got Kirkus star review. American as Paneer Pie, Supriya Kelkar, the Indian American lead. It's about a young girl and her family. She's being bullied. There's a hate crime incident around them, but it's also like trying to find yourself and be yourself and try to get past the bullying and try to overcome this hate crime against it. So a very sweet tale. I think a lot of people will enjoy this one. Braver, A Wombat's Tale, Susan Selfers and Walker Ransom. This is what I call just escapism read. Really enjoyable adventure, rescue mission, kind of escape. Pick this book up and lose yourself in this book and really enjoy it. Not have to worry about the real world so much. That's why I like the escapism read. It's also got an AOA and Kirkus review. Unadoptables by Hannah Took. It's about orphans and friendship, and how family is not always the family you're born with, it's the family you find. So, and it's got a nice adventure tale to it. I hope she actually does more with Unadoptables, but a good story overall. I really liked it, and I think your kids will too. Land of the Cranes by Ada Zalzar. This is the book that's really kind of disappointing. This would have done really well last year. I think if the pandemic wouldn't have. It talks about deportation and detention centers and family and all the struggles that kind of go along with it. It's a novel in verse, so those who like novel in verse will be fine, really enjoy it. It's got a Kirkus Start review, and the Spanish version is just now coming out. So if you're looking for more Spanish language books, the Spanish version of this is very good. It will do you really well as well. Star Spangled, The Story of the Flag, the Battle of the American Anthem by Tim Grove. This is a good history book, good report book about the American history and how the song came to be. And it'll be in a good, it got a nice Kirkus Star review, so it's a nice addition to your history collection. Darwin's Rival, Alfred Russel Wallace and the Search of Evolution by Christina Doron and Harry Tennant. It's about lesser known science. Alfred Russel Wallace was a contemporary of Darwin. He really came up with a lot of the natural selection theory that Darwin expanded on. So there's a really good introduction to him and his influences on science and at the search of evolution. It got 3-star reviews from AOA, Kirkus, and SOJ. Guardians of Liberty, Freedom of the Press, and the Nature of News. Another good book last year. Really, we should have done better. Linda Barrett Osborne about the importance of free press and the history of press and key events in history with censorship and when the press was really needed and did their job. So fantastic book in that aspect for the people who are more into social or into journalism. This is a good book for them. And it got starred reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. Powwow, Celebration Through Song and Dance. This is a really great book. It's got a lot of great images on it by Karen Faison Iguani. Celebrates Indigenous song and dance, a guidebook to protocols and aspects of different powwows, so how each tribe kind of does something different. It's got really great photos of the powwows as well, so you really get to feel like you're there. And got an SOJ star review. A Ship We Built, Lexi Bean. This is a little more mature book for the middle grade. I don't think it goes too higher than 5 to 9. 5 might be a little low, it might be a little high for 5-9, but I think 10th, 11th grade is written a little not that quite there yet. It's got an LGBTQ tone. It's about abuse, mental, physical, and sexual. So it is a little more mature in that aspect, but not that mature. And it's told through letters, mailed through balloons. So very cool idea. Different kind of message in the bottle kind of thing. And I got 2-star reviews from AOA and Kirkus. We Are the Power, How Nonviolent Activism Changed the World. Another book should have done really well last year. If everything was normal, I think this would have been a must-have for last fall. By Tahatis Lowry, History of Nonviolent Protest, biography of people who wrote it. And it's got a lasting impact. I think it'll do well in your library for many years. And it got a star review from AOA and SOJ. You Call This Democracy, How to Fix Government and Deliver Power to the People. Another book that should have done really well last year with the elections by Elizabeth Rusin. Highlights issues facing in U.S. democracy, breakdowns of social, economic, and racial differences. So a nice collection of that stuff there. And it got a Kirkus star review. Like I said, this was one of the ones that just really got lost last year. It probably been a really good book to have, especially last fall. Gold Rush Girl, another historical fiction by Avi. I always like Avi and his historical fictions. It's set in 1848 in the Gold Rush. It's got adventure. It's got kidnapping. We got AOSR review. So one of those books, a great read, escapism book that we all could use. Chirp by Kate Mesner. It's a Me Too book for this age group. It deals with family illness at the same time and keeping secrets because of what happened. So understanding book, a really kind of emotional toil, but a very well done. I think you'll really enjoy this. By Kurt, it's got star reviews from Kirkus and Publishers Weekly. Maps of Memory, Return to Butterfly Hill. Butterfly Hill did really well. It's still popular today. And this is a sequel to it by Marjorie Goskin and Lee White does some illustrations for it. Set in the Chiles in the 1970s and 80s under the dictatorship. And it talks about what happened there and how families were disappearing and the other stories that happened along the way. So if Butterfly Hill really did well for you, I think this one would be great as well. Just make sure you check it out. The Girl Who Lost Her Shadow, Emily Illette. It's the mental health is a big thing you'll be seeing, especially, I put a couple books in this collection because I think it's an important aspect. And this one has the family troubles and, trying to find yourself when you have, you're depressed, you have mental health issues. It's not okay. It's not anything wrong with you. You just have to find a way that best suits yourself. And it's got a nice Kirkus star review. Closer to Nowhere, Ellen Hopkins. Ellen Hopkins is really good at family emotional books. It's novel in verse, told through two perspectives. It's really about grief and overcoming and just helping each other out, overcome a loss. And I really liked it. She's got another great book that came out, What About Will, this year. And this was family and PTSD and post-concussive syndrome and opiate addiction and family trying to cover it up. It's really sad tale. Great book. Both of them are really great. Invisible Boy by Alyssa Hollingsworth and illustrations by Deborah Lee. It's a really cool book. It's got human trafficking in the background through the entire story, but it's really about the girl and the friendships she makes, and being, being inquisitive and being wanting to be a young journalist. And sometimes when she's not a young journalist and she's telling people stuff, they don't always believe her, but she's determined to keep it up. And also the fascination of superheroes. And with all the Marvel and DC movies out, there's a lot of kids who would connect with this book. All right, that ends the Just Takes One Pandemic 2020 recap. I hope you found books you really like. If you did, there's books you already read. Comment down below, please. Share, like, subscribe, anything we can do. All I'm going to try to do is bring more books out to people, get more people to see different books, and give an opportunity for people to find that book that's going to make them a reader, or give them another new subject to learn, or just a character they're going to fall in love with. That's what's important about Just Takes One. Find that one book, and whatever that one book is for you, I hope you do. And until next time, thank you, and read again.